Welcome to Jakarta. Again, thanks for your presence.
I think our team will leave the Philippines today.
Madam, we are supposed to take a hand before the press.
All right.
Sorry. All right. Thank you very much. Welcome to Jakarta. Thank you for the president.
Can you whispering interpreter?
Okay, go ahead. Thank you very much. The president, our picture. Good morning, Prime Minister.
Good morning.
How are you today? Everything is okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Prime Minister, welcome. Thank Welcome, Jakarta. Thanks for your presence. Thank you. Good morning, Madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Excellency, good morning. Welcome to Jakarta. Prime Minister Kofi thank you for welcome to Jakarta.
Sir. Sir.
To Chapal, thank you very much. President.
Many distinguished heads of states and government, distinguished representatives of participating government, and leaders of important international organizations. Your presence here means so much to us in Indonesia, and I am sure to all the communities devastated by the tsunami of last December the 26th. It means that you care, and you care deeply, and for that we are grateful. As Your Excellencies may recall, we have already submitted the professional programs of work, which include the indicative list of topics for the meeting. The topic to be discussed will consist of opening remarks, presentations of situations by affected countries, statements, considerations of the way forward, and adoptions of the joint declarations. Before we proceed further, may I kindly invite you all to rise for a minute of silence to pay our deepest respect to the victims of the Thank you. Opening address. Today, we confront the aftermath of a natural disaster so fierce that it has left more than one region keep rising. Indonesia is no stranger to calamities like this. In 1883, the eruptions of Mount Krakatau, which is only a 3-hour drive to the west from Jakarta, killed more than 36,000 people in the coastal towns and villages along the Sunda Strait on Java and Sumatra Island. I remember reading about the generation would face a natural disaster so great it would inflict human casualties. The region have responded vigorously. More than 30 countries, sure. The leaders from the disaster areas will easily testify that what you have seen on the TV screen represent only a small sampling of the painful realities on the ground. What the victims went through, sir. Let us therefore ensure that the emergency relief efforts work effectively and without delay. That is only the short-term challenge. In the mid and long terms, we face the challenge of rehabilitating human lives and human communities. Infrastructures must be rebuilt and sources of livelihood must be re-established. The future of those whose lives must be secured. Hence, let us ensure that on a transnational basis, all regional programs on disaster management, which commit members of the ASEAN family to develop a regional instrument to coordinate and make easier the movement of assistance across borders. Let us now translate that commitment into concrete reality. We have a plan of action toward the establishment of an ASEAN security community, which provide the use of military forces and logistics for rescue and relief operations. Let us now give substance to that provisions of the plan by establishing a standby mechanism for the instant use of military and civil defense resources to save lives during a disaster. Given the experience of setting up a tsunami warning system in the Pacific Ocean area, the cost of putting up a similar system on the Indian Ocean rim should be much less. At any rate, as a world community, we should not be counting costs today so that in the future we will not be counting lives lost. Let us make the first move to build that system in this meeting. For transnational coordination to be effective, there must be strong national programs and mechanisms to coordinate. This means the gathering and deployment of resources to carry out capacity building in all vulnerable countries. Self-reliant as well as we should like to be, we cannot muster all the necessary resources for emergency relief, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. For all affected countries, the combined cost of rehabilitation and reconstruction will definitely be staggering. In this regard, we truly appreciate the help already received and pledges of support from governments and peoples all over the world. We must also ensure that we benefit from the experience of the United Nations in establishing and managing a special emergency fund for emergency relief efforts and for enhancing our preparedness for future disaster. We must ensure that effective role played by UN offices in the affected countries in coordinating emergency relief effort. In this regard, there is a need for the UN Secretary General to appoint a special representative to coordinate the efforts of those UN offices. We must also secure an effective role for the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank in our respective national effort to rehabilitate and reconstruct the cities, villages, and the livelihood of people in the disaster areas. Beyond these measures, the imperative is for us to acquire the habit of working together and the way we have worked together during the crisis. When the crisis has passed, let us not go back to business as usual, only to become a solid community again when another disaster strikes. Starting with this meeting, let us continue to build on this culture of solidarity and make it permanent. By habitually working together in the spirit of solidarity, we secure ourselves not only from the fury of natural disaster, but also from the folly of human conflict that in the long term is the only way the human race can survive. I thank you.
รัฐมนตรีลีเซนหลงที่ได้มีแนวคิดริเริ่มจัดกองประชุมตามนักธรณีวิทยาได้ค้นคว้าว่าภัยธรรมชาติรักษาซ้อนให้เด็กของพวกเฮาการพวกข้าพเจ้าก็ได้ตกลง
in this. But amidst the pain, the fear, and the despair, I also saw the resilience of the human spirit. Scattered among the countless tragic stories are heroic tales of survival and also of selfless sacrifice for others. They speak of our shared humanity without regard to race, nationality, or religion. And now, after the disaster, the survivors are picking themselves up, tackling the urgent problem.
Hari ke-6 kemarin saya dilaporkan kepada saya Satpam